Like, just listen to it.
All right, done.
Look at you doing things as usual.
I would say multitasking, but that just means,
I know,
you're
you don't like
half-assing
that.
a lot of stuff instead of
I know.
whole-assing one thing.
Right,
So
you don't
I am
like that.
definitely doing more than one thing, and probably not as well as I could if I focus, but now I'm ready to focus, so just in time.
You're producing and editing, and we're live and we're streaming, and go do that and say, yeah, I'll just sit here without a crew. We are the crew.
Exactly.
I'm paying the bills. You're doing that. Like, we're doing all these things at the same time. Who has ADHD? Not us.
Not me, not us.
And even if we did, that would just make us...
And we are live.
Hello,
Good
Facebook.
day. Hello, Facebook.
You look great, Dr. Energy. Look what's in the back for you.
Thank you.
Behind the scenes, you've got things moving and grooving.
Hey, Cindy, welcome. Good to see you again.
Oh, good morning, Cindy. It's nice to see you. See your Facebook presence. It will be nice to see you. We should Zoom again. Let's set that up today.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, how's the Facebook feed looking on your side, Catherine? Mine's looking a little fuzzy. It might just be that my computer's doing too many things. So,
all right, let me go check it out. Zoom again. Sorry. Let's set that up today. We're nice and it's a little fuzzy.
A little fuzzy. Okay. I think that it's part of this graphic that I have running up over here that I need to, if I turn that off, I think we're gonna be better. So let me do that.
All right. Yeah, you're right. It's nice. We saw it.
It's taxing my resources it's taxing my resources.
We don't want to tax your resources, Dr. Energy.
Right. Okay. There we go. I shut it off now. So.
Oh, Cindy said clear there.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just my computer.
Well, then it's mine too. And maybe my version of clear versus, let me just put it big.
Out of curiosity, how's that could be it too.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy. I'm a little on the fuss pot side.
Catherine's glasses are dark. Yes,
yeah.
It's a vision issue, so that she needs to wear those glasses. So yes, and yes, it is a nice education ring. So
yeah, thank you. I've got a 27-inch monitor, and I look around the hairline, and that's where I look for the clarity. And there's a little bit of fuzziness over there.
I'm gonna leave it off for the time being, and
cool.
It'll just be Google. It's a Google Chromecast there in the background, so I'll just it'll cycle through some pictures, and I'll just leave it like that.
I love that we can talk about this, that we could really explain how to, on the spot, right? Edit, adapt, adjust, check out what things look like so that we can get it to look better. It's really important to let people know that you can do that. We can fix it on the spot. Can you get all my hair to be gray so I don't have to wait 4 years to grow it out?
It might take a little bit of work to do that.
Can you turn on a few more filters there on that end? We'll do that. We'll do that next time. We're going to look 20 years younger. We're going to filter the schmagegi out of this. Yeah.
Oh, I love throwing in some Yiddish terms there. I like it. Nice.
Just, talk about, I misspoke on our last live saying it was the eve of Pesach. It wasn't. It was the eve of the eve of. So just to let you know what kind of person I am getting all the holidays wrong.
So I think we should just jump right into talking about our topic today was introverts and extroverts. Oh my.
Yeah.
So,
What are you?
Why don't you lead us off?
Okay, okay, sure. Well, here's how an extrovert would start. What are you? Are you an introvert or extrovert? There would be no lead time between. So let's talk about it. I would just and what would an extrovert do? I have glitter, I have sparkle, I have my pearl. This is the sign these are some of the signs of an extrovert. Doesn't mean an introvert can't do that, but an extrovert's like, here I am, I'm here, I showed up. So let me give you something a little bit more easily digestible. There's a common myth that only extroverts are the best networkers. We'll talk about networking, right? Because Cindy, I think you're going to like this as well.
Right.
When we're talking about networking and referrals and strategic alliances and partners, it's a fact that extroverted people are better at meeting new people. even if they're not outgoing. Introverted people, on the other hand, are better at communicating ideas and forming meaningful relationships with referral marketing. Therefore, introverts are great networkers too. So that's the good news. If you say, hi, I'm an introvert, hi, I'm an extrovert, does that mean you're going to be behind?
I don't know. I don't know that the introvert would say, hi, I'm an introvert. An extrovert would definitely say, hi, I'm an extrovert.
Well, I'm looking at a visual right now that has a name tag. So if we were to label, name tag ourselves,
Right.
and if the name tag wouldn't say our name, but if it would say, hello, I'm an introvert, hello, I'm an extrovert, or we gave it a color coding,
Right.
the introvert, when we saw them, would definitely still have a very powerful position.
Right.
Let's talk about the two parts. And you're right, an introvert wouldn't come out and say that. Networking is a two-part process for both of us. For both of we'll say that there are at this moment two types of people. I mean, there are more than two, but we'll just talk about extroverts and introverts. So let me give you this. First, you have to meet someone new and share information about yourself. Oh boy, sometimes people feel that to be very difficult. Like, that's painful. What do I say about myself? I don't want to talk about myself and seem conceited. Well, you don't have to. You can just talk about yourself without puffing yourself up. Extroverts may be better at this first part of the networking process. They just may be a little bit better at it right from the, when the gate opens.
Right.
While introverted people tend to avoid networking. Are you one of those people you're like, I really don't want to network. I know I should, but I'll get to it. So introverted people do tend to avoid networking because they're uncomfortable with initializing the conversations with strangers. So if somebody talks to an introvert, it's one thing to answer a question. It's another thing to go up to someone. Like, I think about Damar Zimmerman in the supermarket talking to people about, sending cards and brownies. That's an extrovert. An introvert would wait to be spoken to.
Right.
Introverts are better at the second part of the networking process. So kudos to the introverts. Pat yourself on the back. Introverted people are better at building strong relationships with people that they know. So the people you have a strong relationship with, think about that and value that, cherish it. Introverts are better listeners. They ask more questions to understand the person's business. And networking, well, what's it about? It's about building relationships.
Right. So I would say kind of like what Cindy has posted in the comments about being a situational extrovert and a natural introvert. There's another term we sometimes use called ambivert. Basically, you jump back and forth between the two. So I'll go into that in a second. Before I jump into that, I think we should maybe introduce ourselves as well.
Already, do you want to
in case
introduce
those
yourself?
new people here don't know who we are? Sure, I'll go first today.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Of course.
So I'm Joe, Dr. Energy Piazza. No, I did not name myself Dr. Energy. That was my partner who named me that. And one of these days we keep promising or threatening, maybe as the case may be, to give the origin stories of our nicknames. It sounds like a comic book movie or comic book, origin story of the superhero, right? Everybody's got an origin story. So we are here to help you create clear and concise communication and leadership in your life, whether that you're in your own life or in the lives of a team that you lead or a team that you are a part of. We want to help you be able to lead and communicate more effectively, more efficiently, and get more done with more connections with more people. How's that sound?
I love that. Sign me up.
And how about you?
My name is Catherine Asauer-Myers, affectionately known as Rara is in the house. I am live broadcasting to you today from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada, in Eastern time zone, for those of you that are in different time zones. One of the things I'd like to bring to the forefront about what we're doing today is we are here to educate and entertain. If you put those two words together, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, we're here to edutain you.
Right.
Edutain you, educate and entertain you. So this is what we are doing. We are adding a little bit of entertainment with education, and we're going to make it fun for you because we really need to make it fun for us. There's just no other way that we can do this. So if you see us fooling around and goofing around, if you see us or hear us doing things and you say like, why are they doing that? That's who we are. We are our authentic self right here, having this conversation the way we would have any other business conversation, the way we produce our podcast, the way we edit our lives. It's about keeping the real, authentic us. When you go to YouTube, you'll see us the same right across the board. Nothing will change. So we're happy that you're here with us, and we hope that you are thoroughly edutained by the information that we give here to you today.
So for my sports-minded friends who have watched in Ontario Sportsnet and are familiar with Tim and Sid, that was what Tim and Sid always promoted that they did, edutainment. Will we get to the levels of Tim and Sid? Maybe. We're still working on that. So we'll do our best to give you as much education and as much entertainment as we can and put it all together in a nice, sometimes it won't be a neat package. Sometimes it'll look like a little 5-year-old wrapped the Christmas present, but sometimes it'll look really, really nice and tied with a nice little bow on it. We'll give you what we got. How's that sound?
I love packages from 5-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. That shows they care, right?
Exactly. All
so
right.
back to situational extrovert and natural introvert and ambiverts. So for myself, I am definitely a people person. I definitely like to be out and around people. I do find it energizing. Yes, Cindy, it will always be fun, even if it's only fun for us. Hopefully it will be fun for everybody else, right? So I like to be out and around people. I find it energizing to be around people. However, there are times when I need to go and be by myself and recharge and feel like I'm filling my energy up from inside. When I get into a new situation in a large room full of people that I don't necessarily know, I kind of tend to hang back a little bit and almost look for and hang out on the edge of a conversation that sounds interesting until I'm invited in, rather than just jumping in and say, hey, my name's Joe, and blah, 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 just inserting myself in the conversation. I kind of tend to hang back a little bit and try to get a feel for the room, a feel for the conversation. And there are times when I absolutely do not want to be around people. It's like, I've had enough. I just want to go off and be by myself. So I fluctuate between the two.
I didn't know we were going to do that. I'm an extrovert. Yeah, I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert. I never want to be alone. I always want to be with people. I always want to talk to people. And if you go to sleep, I'll go find somebody else to talk to. That's how I live. Yep. That's how I get my energy.
It's true. She does.
It's just, I don't know any other way. If I want to be alone, I'm in the shower, and maybe, thanks to my husband, I'm not. But the point about that is I can be alone in my head right here, right now. If I want, I can have a duality existence by being here with you. And then I can take a part of my head and I can just be alone with myself there. And I'm still doing this right here. So I can go out and look in, and I can be in and look out. I am thriving with human connection. It excites me. It actually helps me to sleep when I have connection. Some people say, well, do you need that downtime? Nope. Do you need to have that time? No. Even when I'm in yoga, like I was one of those people that they used to say, please turn off your Fitbit, because I was like, oh, I'm getting a text. They're like, you shouldn't be doing that. Why not? Why do I have to singularly focus on that one person when all I want to see that, oh, look what's coming in. So for me, I'm an extrovert all the way. Classic textbook expert.
Extrovert. Extrovert.
I'm an expert at that too. So there we are. That's who we are. And you can tell us otherwise if you think that you see another part of us. We're open to it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we both have is we both have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yes.
Regardless of being an introvert, an extrovert, an ambivert, a good networker asks questions and gets to know people. And with a strong relationship, you're more likely to be able to solve, if you want to solve a problem or a concern. Introverts shouldn't fear networking. Like, don't be afraid of that. Why? I invite you not to be afraid. I invite you to look at it from a different perspective. Because actually, it's easy for an introvert to network with an extrovert. Introverts are better at listening and asking questions, while extroverts love talking about themselves. So I want to take that away. Like, I don't want to think that that's what happens, but sometimes you just can't shut an extrovert up.
And it's not always necessarily talking about themselves. It's just talking in general and being the center of attention, the life of the party, right? It's having the focus on them, the spotlight on them. So in that respect, I definitely like being, I can definitely be an extrovert. I like being on a stage with a microphone in my hand and commanding the room and, having all of those eyes on me. And in fact, if you come and try and take the microphone away from me, you might be in for a little bit of a fight.
Oh, like candy taking away an ice cream cone from a kid.
There you go. It can be like that sometimes.
I'll remember not to do that.
Well, it's it's a skill that I've learned through Toastmasters, of being able to be more concise with my communication. Because as you know, we are both really good at being able to take a topic and really dive into it and take it apart and dismantle it and see it from different perspectives and present that. And that it's easy to go off the rails that way. So to be able to be more concise is very, very important.
Well, let's speak to
sometimes.
Thank you. Let's speak to Cindy's comment. So if we were in a room, if we were on a boat, if we were in a train, if we were in a hotel room, who do we attract? So when we think about being in a room with people, a topic, a subject would be perhaps the main attraction, or the speakers, the entertainers. So I don't go to a jazz club if I don't like jazz. I don't go to a rock concert if I don't like rock or listen to the music. So if you like listening to the topic in conversation, you may be an extrovert, or you may be an introvert looking for some tips. So Cindy, you're right. If we had a party and said extroverts only, and we're all getting together at our house,
everybody would be talking.
That's right. Everybody would be talking. It would be an amazing party. If we said introverts only, let's invite only introverts to this webinar. So listen to where I'm going to go with this. If you're attracting introverts and you're holding events, Zoom live events, and you have a bunch of introverts there, you might feel like you're a dentist pulling teeth. So know who you're attracting. Figure it out. Ask the questions as the organizer. As we are here, drop us in the chat. Tell us, are you an introvert, extrovert? Let us know why you think you are an introvert or extrovert. So next time we speak with you, we know you're either going to be asking us the questions or you'll be engaging with us from the position of an extrovert. We'll know a little bit more about you. At the same time, if you're an introvert, you'll let others know about you and you won't have to say anything. So this is a brave place for everyone who is equal, because you are all, as we are all, chatting. It is a text chat. So there's really no exposure here that's going to be any more uncomfortable. The card you see behind me, a birthday card. Look at this birthday card I got from Fran Laws. This is amazing. So I wanted to put that up there. That's the maple comfort tree.
Nice. Oh yeah. We got to see if we can, I don't know if, just as a quick aside, speaking of conversations, there's a Facebook page called, Giant Trees of the World or something like that. And they go, and there's all these trees, and some of them are like so massive that you could literally stand 30 or 40 people arm to arm around. You could stand, 34 people arm to arm stretched out around the base of a tree. The comfort maple, I think we were about 10 or 12 people. It's still pretty big. It's a 500-year-old maple tree, right?
Do you remember that? That's awesome. So look at this. So Fran made this birthday card. And she sent this to us. I don't know if you can hear me, but you can see Fran and Dave Laws. And she put all these pictures on it. And this maple comfort tree is something so special to us. I mean, we were there I can do this without turning around. That's cool. I guess I practiced. We had such a great time there. And when you have memories like that, and we get to talk about it right here, like that comfort maple tree, it's not far. It's like 25 minutes from where we are. So when things open up, we can go hug a tree. Let's go hug a tree together and socially distance, because it's pretty big. So that was a great moment. And to talk about here, an extrovert will, this is a great example. An extrovert will open the conversation and then go to another aspect of the conversation and then bring in a story if you're a storyteller.
Right.
And you'll be able to keep the conversation going.
Right.
So with 2 ears and 1 mouth, it's proportionate, but you know who's going to be using the ears and who's going to be using the mouth first.
Right.
Let's talk about making it easier.
Yeah, so I was going to just talk about that a little bit with the introvert. I see that Midwest Merchandisers here is one of our fellow Creators Guild people. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Awesome.
As an introverts, we tend to be a little shy. Now you can be a shy extrovert as well, but the shyness tends to be associated with introverts more than extroverts, and that we like, as an introvert, hanging out online, and you can interact and still maintain some distance or detachment with the people that you are communicating with. And then the other thing, Cindy, you mentioned there about only introverts at a party could result in a lot of elevator music, and I think I might disagree a little bit. I think that the introvert side of me likes to get into and have really meaningful conversations. So what you might find at a party full of introverts is several small pockets of 2 or 3 or 4 people max having really interesting and more meaningful and deeper conversations than what you may find with a more extroverted type of a conversation. That's been my experience, at least. So though, at a big party full of, a mix of people, the introverts are likely the ones where you'll see 2 or 3 people that are sharing a spot on the couch or in a corner of the room the whole night or most of the night, having a conversation just amongst themselves. That's what I tend to find. And some of the Carolyn, introvert for sure. Yeah, she could probably speak to some of what I was just saying there about how the introverts kind of like to hang out at a party or when there's a lot of people around.
And I'll talk about that one other aspect of it. If you're in the comfort of someone's home that and you're an introvert, you may in fact have a different level of comfort as opposed to being an introvert and being in a new situation. So if we take it to you're an introvert, you come to our home, that's one thing. If we talk about networking, and Cindy, you can speak to this for so many years with the expert experience that you have, an introvert in a brand new room with a bunch of new people, it might be difficult to get those conversations to be started, which is why in networking, we often have people who open the door and people who make the first impressions and people who help you sit down and welcome you and register. And there's a speaker and somebody who thanks you. And this is to accommodate all types of guests and visitors that would come. But let's go with some tips that make networking easier. Would you like to lead that or would you like me to? Let me see what you're saying. You're muted, Dr. Energy, completely muted.
I'm completely muted. The live streaming again. Hey, Scott, Beyond 280. Scott's got a great live stream as well on his page at Beyond 280, talking about bringing empathy and compassion to social media. So you might want to check his live streams out. It's some really good topics there. So as far as making networking easier for people, especially for an introvert, is maybe become an ambassador for the networking group or for a charity or for somebody else's business, because it takes the focus off of ourself and it puts the focus somewhere else. And then the conversation will eventually evolve around to what you do. So if you become an ambassador, for example, hi, I'm Dr. Joe Piazza, and I'm here representing the World Wildlife Fund. And our goal is to, protect and grow natural habitat for the animals of the world. And then the other person will introduce it. And then the other person will then ask back, well, what do you do in your own business? And so it's an easy way to have a conversation because it takes the focus off of ourselves, kind of gives us a little bit of detachment and a little bit of distance as we start to get a sense of and connect with the person or people that we are having the conversation with. So that's one way to break the ice when you get into a situation like that.
I love the icebreakers. We have John, Shanks, and Xanthi breaking the ice with us right here.
Yeah.
You want to read their comments?
Absolutely. So John says he thought he'd check and finds this type of information very interesting. And Xanthi is talking about imposter syndrome and how it makes us scared to connect. And this is true. We often think in our own minds that we're not good enough, that we don't have enough to offer, that we're not an expert in the field to share. So we tend to hang back sometimes and maybe not give all of ourselves. And just know that I would say most people, if not all of us, have dealt with or deal with imposter syndrome at some point. And the trick is to face that fear anyways and move through it. That's where courage comes from, and how we develop that. It's a developable, I'm going to make up a word, developable skill of learning how to move through that. And oh, John, talking tax, right, from the Guild as well. Great. So moving through that fear, right? We've all heard the acronym of fear as face everything and rise. So when we can face those fears, that anxiety, that imposter syndrome, and rise above it, rise beyond it, that's a completely different energetic space, a completely different mindset. And then therefore we can tap into a different behavior than when we try to act or behave from that place of fear and imposter syndrome.
Take a look at yourself right now that you're here. See what you look like. See if you are doing anything that cries out, screams, extrovert. Dr. Energy, you have on a green lantern ring. I don't want to ask you on the waist down because you may be wearing shorts today, but do you, you're muted. You're muted.
The question is actually, am I even wearing pants?
Yes. Well, if you are or not, are you wearing your Superman belt?
Pants, but I'm not wearing I'm not wearing the Green Lantern belt today.
Okay. Or the Green Lantern belt. So look at yourself and see if there are any crystal clear signs that you're an introvert or an extrovert. And then that will tell you a little bit about yourself. For example, I sparkled up. That's what I do. I level up. That's what I like to do. So that's some of the things that you can do by taking a look at yourself. You talked about becoming an ambassador. Let's talk about that. Oh, John has something to say. Awesome. I guess you'll read that. I'll go on to this tip and then you can read what John has to say. Oh, no, let me read it, John. You're right here, right now. John's more of an introvert, where my fiance is an extrovert, but yet we both get along perfectly. How is this possible? Oh, I can speak to that. Let me speak to that, John. My husband is an introvert. I am an extrovert. Happy wife, happy life. There are things that we are both trained to do. As an extrovert, I know that if I want my husband to run out the door, I will push a conversation. So I have a learned behavior on how not to push the conversation, how to allow the conversation to happen. I need to do that in order to keep his interest. Otherwise, he's just going to go to something else where he can be in his head. Then for the introvert, for my husband, in order to have my interest, what he often does, where he might prefer to read or he might prefer to sit quietly and just hold hands and be together, which is fine, he'll engage with questions with me. And he'll know that we can sit quietly, but if he engages with me, that will hit the other level, the other vibration of what I need. So we have learned after 34 years of how to keep the interest. If you take that out of a personal relationship, and once you know these skills, you'll see that the introvert, instead of saying, so what do you think? You might say, do you have any thoughts on that? Is now a good time to have a conversation? It's always good to ask permission. I find with introverts, it's a really good idea to allow that conversation to be much more organic. In a room full of extroverts, let's do this. Let's do it right now. Xanthi, maybe you can say something to this if you're still here. Mm-hmm. It's very crystal clear that when you're speaking to an extrovert, it's let's do it right now. There's really no, like, is this not a good time? It's like, this is a good time, the here and now. And that might have to do with a little bit of our Colby and our conation and our MO, our modus operandi. But what we're doing when we're an extrovert is we're getting it done. We're in action. So John, I hope I answered your question about that. I wanted to talk a little bit about being an ambassador. Let me know if I did. And if I did, great. Here's Siri. Sorry.
Here's a reminder.
Alexa.
Here's Alexa. So maybe we might be triggering your Alexa right now through this live. And if we do, it's time to meditate, everyone. And this is my life. So we're not shutting her off, because if you're in my bridge room, you got to be working, and Alexa has to work for me.
Right.
So becoming an ambassador. If you feel uncomfortable approaching.
8 a.m. Eastern. Slack Technologies traded at $41.29 on the New York Stock Exchange.
Just say, Alexa, stop.
Financial information.
So,
okay, here I am. So becoming an ambassador. If you feel uncomfortable approaching strangers.
Yep.
And
you might want to actually, you wanted to comment on what I said, right? Okay.
Yes. So I'll go to an ambassador. Yeah. If you feel uncomfortable approaching strangers at a business mixer, become an ambassador for your Chamber of Commerce, for example, or pick an organization. In this role, you can become a host for that group. Therefore, you easily meet new people by engaging small talk, icebreakers. We talk about that in Toastmasters. When you greet people, you can say, "Welcome to our event. My name is Rara. I'm an ambassador for the bridge." Oh, the Chamber of Commerce and the owner of. So you can say that. You can go into the role of who you are doing that for. And it might be a little bit more comfortable for you, even if you're an extrovert. You wanted to say something, Dr. Energy?
No, that was good. I was just going to jump in and agree with what something Cindy said. Two things, actually. She said that extroverts tend to be like butterflies, or I would say even like a bumblebee, right? Buzzing around, landing on a flower, pollinating, then going, meeting somebody else. And they have more of a buzz to them. Whereas an introvert would be more like, if to help the introverts instead of thinking of it as a networking event, as Cindy says, think of it as an opportunity to meet one or two really interesting people. And then it takes the pressure off. You don't have to go and meet everybody in the room. You can just focus on meeting that one or two or maybe three really interesting people.
Right. I love getting into this conversation. John, thank you for your response. That's exactly how you and your fiance are, right? That's how we are after 34 years. So you begin to know what you need to do and how you can bring people closer. What do they say? You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. So you know who you're speaking to, right?
Unless you're trying to attract flies, then you have to use a different substance.
You're funny. You're funny.
But if you're a bee, don't try to tell a fly that honey is better than poop.
And
they won't believe you. They won't believe you.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what else can you do to become more comfortable, to make networking easier.
Right.
Do you want me to cover this?
Yeah, you jump in with
awesome.
Talk about volunteer stuff.
Okay, great. So you can become a volunteer. Now think about that. I don't have time to volunteer. I'm too busy. That's not okay. Well, let's talk about making networking easier. That's the subject. So not about how much time you have. Are you a volunteer for a cause that you feel really passionate about? Do you know what you feel passionate about? Have you ever thought about it? If you haven't, maybe now's a good time. You can give your time to an event. Love to. If you have an event, ask us. Maybe we can help out. Share your talents with the organization. Perhaps you need a speaker. Perhaps you need 2 speakers. Or help solicit donations. Become a Rotarian. Sit on the board. I'm a director at Arts Etobicoke. Then you will start off talking to others about the cause. And soon, you're networking. It's a natural progression. Give your time, give your talent. Treasure can be effective opportunities. If you want to meet new people, think about how you would do that. And when you give your time and you give your talent, those are very precious moments because it's your life that you're giving to someone. And I would say that people could understand if you're giving your time. Everyone's busy and they will appreciate you and give you their gratitude. Many of these people could actually become your future clients. I introduced my niece to someone and she got married to her future husband, the father of her children. You never know what's going to happen when you make that introduction. So think about that. You're muted, Dr. Energy.
And volunteering is a great way to get involved. And I'm a member of Toastmasters, and Toastmasters is a volunteer organization, and I'm the current president of my club, and I also serve at the district level as well as the chair of the club coach program. So basically, coaching the coaches. The coaches help clubs that are in lower membership status and having some troubles getting the club going. So I often speak to people from that perspective. And again, it takes the focus off of me. It's often, we Canadians can be, as has been noted in other places, somewhat apologetic when we speak. Oh, I'm sorry about this. Oh, I'm sorry about that. And we may not speak about ourselves or find it as easy to speak about ourselves and put ourselves out there. So when we can speak about another organization or a volunteer cause that we are involved with, then it's much easier to start a conversation that way. Because again, it creates that distance, that detachment, and then we can be able to eventually get to us. And then another way that you can become better as a networker is to become an influencer. So go and speak to a group about a specific topic. For example, we could sit here and talk about live streaming, and we can edify other sources like Impartial Geek, David Foster, our Creators Guild. So in fact, if you would like to learn more about live streaming and get some free resources, creatorsguild.app, great place to go. Lots of free lessons on how to set up your camera shots, set up your background, how to frame your shots, how to do your lighting, what microphone settings, all of these types of things, as well as the softwares and hardware to use. So if we can start to become known for a specific topic, then we can get invited to speak about that, and it opens up. So we narrow the focus, and then on the back end, as people invite us, it opens the doors to many more people and many more organizations.
We could actually hop onto Xanthi's live stream on Friday, Sundays, and Mondays at 3:30 Eastern. And Xanthi is talking about WordPress. And if you want to learn about WordPress, hop onto her live stream. Like, you're really going to get some very valuable tips. And again, we'll say they're free tips. This is streaming. It's what we're doing right now. Xanthi is going to give you amazing WordPress information. So hop on that. We can drop a line. Xanthi, if you're still on, you can drop your stream line in there for us. So Friday, Sunday, Monday, 3:30 Eastern. Go learn about that. That's what our website is on. It's on WordPress.
There's several people that are here in the room today that are doing live streaming. John does a live stream called Talking Tax. It's very, very much US based tax laws and just helping people answer questions about tax laws. Scott, who's in here, I'm not sure if he's still here, Beyond 280. He's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, talking about social media, the effect it has on our lives, and bringing compassion and empathy back into the social media so that we can actually connect as human beings rather than just somebody sitting behind a keyboard.
And Cindy, I absolutely know that you need to speak to Xanthi, and that's why I'm mentioning it right now. So please, let's drop Xanthi. If you can drop your live stream line in there, I have a referral for you.
That's awesome.
Cindy, meet Xanthi. I knew about this last night, so this was my surprise, actually. Cindy, how do you like that? A live referral to what it is that you are focusing on. I don't know how many points you get for that in a referral situation, but here we are. Yes, drop me a note on how to find your live. So Cindy is putting in her email, and Xanthi, you can put your live right here and connect with Cindy directly. Let's, Joe, do we have it that we can put that up there? Xanthi's live stream?
I have a lot of windows open, so let me keep talking and I'll go find it. And
awesome.
I'm going to take myself off camera for a second, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do that. Thank you so much. And Xanthi, if you have it, you can go put that in there as well. So this is a very interesting position. I knew that Cindy needed something and I wanted to do this live because it's so impactful. It is just amazing when you are a planner and you say, align everything, and you go to sleep and you say, boy, I need that. And then the next thing you know, Cindy was pulling her hair out last night. Cindy, I know that. I am so glad that you communicated that with me, because done and done. Speak to Xanthi, watch her streams. You have a solution now. You have an amazing solution with Xanthi. Follow her, follow her, follow her, and keep your eye on BU, because we're following her. And you can go right onto my Facebook, Cindy, and you can see Xanthi's live stream right there. So I won't do that right now. I think Dr. Energy is doing that, but just go right there on my personal page. As an extrovert, you will do exactly what we did right now, like make the connection live, do it right there. Like, why not? As an introvert, you might think, is now a good time? Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Here's a talent. Here's a need. Errol Gerson says, FNAFI, find a need and fill it. What an icon in the creative world.
Yes.
You have that there, Joe?
Yeah, I put it in already.
Okay, there it is. Cynthia. I just made up a new name. Cindy. Xanthi's link is right there in the chat. Trying to get my link. So Xanthi, isn't that funny? I know. Sometimes we're trying to get our own links too. We're like, wait a minute. Yeah. So Cindy, there you are. Go and grab that and get that communication, get that information for yourself. So we know you're going to be up late tonight going through all that, but I know Xanthi likes to have questions. So tomorrow at 3:30, if you're available Eastern, go live on her stream and ask questions. Like this is a valuable piece of information. As an introvert or an extrovert, how to give value. So if you are an introvert and you're not really sure how to go and be in the presence of someone who is perhaps a more vocal person or an extrovert presenter, go and support and engage. Because as you have a desire and a need, a solution that you need, or a problem, and you go in front of an extrovert and you go, or maybe they're an introvert, but they happen to be on a live stream, and you go there and you engage, you are giving value. And by giving value, you are adding to your own pool and your own bank of lifting your self-esteem and lifting the self-esteem and validating the live streamers. Because, when you live stream, if you're talking to yourself, okay, there's always the replay, but when you engage, that is gold.
Yeah, it's the engagement and just putting your focus on your audience. John, I know you're saying about worrying about what to say, whether you say the right thing or the wrong thing. What we like to do and what we teach people or coach people to do is really focus on your audience, connect with them in here and here, and allow the words to come from this place. Because when we put the needs and the desires of our audience first, the right words are going to come out. What they most need to hear and receive will come out. So we even do this when we create a presentation, we get to know who we're going to be speaking to before we ever get to an event. And so we know who the audience is, the type of people that are in the audience, and then we craft the message to fit that, as well as allowing a space for tangents, for us to take the conversation in a slightly different direction in order to meet the needs of the audience in that moment.
That's awesome. I see Richard Morden is here. I don't know if he's still here with us. I don't know if Jay's here with us today. We have a lot of really amazing people here today that, Cindy, you could check it out. Talk about as a presenter. Look at the guests that are here. Look at the people that are talking and communicating with us. Look at the talent that's in this room right here. The high level talent. Talk about problem solvers. So if you're hosting an event, everybody in this room right now could probably put on an amazing international event with the talent and the knowledge that's here right now. Think about that. As you do put an event together, what you just said, know who's going to be in the room. As soon as you get a registration, be a hound dog, be a Sherlock, as Elena says. Go out there and research that person so that you know more about them than they would ever expect you to know. Because if the event is a boutique event, then you certainly can do that. John has a question, Joe. You want to talk about that?
John, I saw one of your earlier ones. I know that you've recently made some changes to your background and your lighting. This week, the last 2 weeks have been really busy for me, so I haven't had a chance to be on on people's streams as much as I would like. But I will definitely make sure I get to see one of your newer streams, and I'll give you some feedback if you like in the guild.
Awesome. So let me tag me on that, or let me see it so I can follow you on the guild, but I may not. I may be an introvert in the guild. I'll just watch it.
Did you want to make a comment on what Cindy just shared in the?
Yeah, sure.
That's a very very generous offer about
yes, of course.
Event that she's running.
Okay. In exchange, come to the SSM Power Hour for Q2 for free. Cindy is offering a promo code, Catherine, and it's free. Awesome, Cindy. Thank you so much for doing that in exchange. So she's doing that for Xanthi, but Cindy, you might be doing that for a lot of other people because
you just made it public in the
you
chat.
just put that promo code so you're going to be my guest, and Cindy, look at that. So cute. So stop lurking in the guild. Beyond 280 says stop lurking. Okay, so let me tell you, Scott, I am lurking in the guild because I went on there and I thought I need to do a little bit more research before I open my mouth there. But okay, I'll stop lurking. I'm a little bit of an extrovert lurker there, and I don't want to be too overpowering or overwhelming. Right. So I'm just sitting there looking at it, getting the feel. I don't know. That's not even me. So I better just snap out of it, like they say in Moonstruck. I'll do that. I'll go in there and I'll start paying attention. Yeah. Slap me twice. So Cindy says that link is for anyone. And thank you so much for the greetings.
Yes, absolutely.
That's so cool. I need that little bit of encouragement. There's an extrovert for you right there.
Exactly.
Beyond 280. Stop lurking in the guild. Get up there. I'm from New York.
Did you want to talk about our most recent podcast while we're here?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me talk about the man who wants to shoot us. We're 3 Sicilians in that podcast. Tony Lombardo. I met Tony at a BNI networking group. And what I had said was, let me tell you a little bit about my family. They consist of Sicilians from New York. As soon as I finished the word New York, Tony was texting me. It was instantaneous. Talk about an extrovert. Tony was right there. Before the meeting was done, he had already booked a meeting with me. Of course, I had sent him the link. We were chatting. We were booked. As soon as the meeting was over, we were on a call. Instantly. And what happens when you're talking to quick starts extroverts, like power, magic, everything happens. So Tony was on our podcast and we had an amazing time. And when you go over to b-u.network and you take a look at Tony's take a look at his beautiful, silly, beautiful picture. So, I mean, that's his professional promo picture.
And it really ties into what we've been talking about today about extroverts, introverts, and being your authentic self and getting out from that imposter syndrome. He spent years as well as a comic, doing sketch comedy. And when he does photography with people and videography, he shoots weddings and that type of stuff as well. But one of his main focuses is to have a conversation with you to put you at ease and allow who you are to come out, whether you're extroverted or introverted. And then he starts taking pictures. He has a process. He likens it to playing with a child, playing with dominoes. And he describes it in the podcast. It's a really nice metaphor for how his process of photographing people works. Yes, Scott, unapologetically you, as David likes to say.
Yes. I love what Cindy said. When you get value like this session and in future with Xanthi, you should give. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad everybody. Yeah. Oh, Cindy went and looked at the picture. Yeah, he's got a great picture. You got to listen. You have to listen to that. That's all I can say. When I was chatting with Tony on LinkedIn. So Cindy, thank you so much for sharing today's live on your LinkedIn page. Go watch what Cindy does. Please go get Cindy Mount on LinkedIn. I was chatting with Tony, and what does Tony say? Come on over, bring cannolis. Like, this is just what he says.
Exactly.
Really to the point.
And to Cindy's point about hypnotherapy, we have another great guy in the guild, Joseph Clough from the UK, who is a hypnotist and hypnotherapist, and he does an amazing live stream. He's got a really great voice for hypnosis, and his streams are really good as well. And he talks a lot about things like we're talking about today: extrovert, introvert, our belief systems, and how we behave in the world. So check him out as well. Clough is Clough, by the way.
We're going to have an amazing guest on that's going to touch on that subject. I know I'm letting the cat out of the bag a little bit here, but if you want to sign up to our newsletter, we'll tell you who's coming up this week and who's coming up next week. Let me give you a place to go and do that. Right. So b-u.network/connect. Connect with us and get the news straight from us, and we'll tell you who's coming up and who was last week. I mean, I love that
who's coming up on our Facebooks as well.
Yes, exactly. I love that we take our podcast guests and we talk about them for 3 weeks in a row. Like, we don't just put you out there and drop you. Like, we just don't do that. Like, we bring you along. We nurture you along with us. You go from our Facebook Live to our podcast to our YouTube stream, and then, like all the way back around and wherever you want to go. So connect with us and see how we do that. See if you like that smooth ride that we're giving you, because we're putting a lot of effort and thought into that. So it may look easy, but yet I would love to hear what you have to say, because it takes an awful lot of back work.
And as we've talked about, and David talks about in the guild, we've committed to, minimum 6 months of these lives. So we're already, if you can believe it, Catherine, 3 months.
No
3 full months of doing live stream every Thursday, live streams here on Facebook. And so we'll hit that 6 months, and then we're going to sit down and look at where we're at, how things are going, what you want to hear about from us, how we can deliver more value for you as well, and then make those tweaks and pivots, and then go for another 6 months and keep seeing how we can deliver more and more and more. Hey, Jay, welcome.
Oh, there's Jay. We'll have
Thank you, Scott.
We'll have a Sicilian powwow when we have that business meeting.
Exactly.
Right.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think that this is a really good place to call it a day. And if you enjoyed our content and would like to see more of it, we are community supported. buymeacoffee.com/BU network. We'd love to have a coffee with you. And we've actually started a membership over there as well, separate from an individual coffee. And we're going to be putting extra content in Buy Me a Coffee specifically for our members only.
One of the things that I heard that I really like, no surprise that I have a grandson who's a live streamer, and he says, "Good morning, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to my live stream." And he does it with such enthusiasm. So of course there's going to be a family of streamers. And I love when you can just give that, be yourself. And I want to say that just like my grandson. Thank you, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, for being here. It means so much to us that you are here engaging with us, and that you are asking us to engage back with you. That is valuable. That is truly, truly what we're looking for. We're here to be servant leaders and to be loyal fans and followers. And that means a lot to us.
Yeah. Like Matthew says, I like to usually start our podcast with, and for those of you who know the movie The Truman Show, you know what's coming next. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Awesome.
In case I don't see you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Energy, for all that you do.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about? You want to mention our YouTube channel?
Sure. Well, we do have a YouTube channel. We actually download all of our lives from Facebook, and we trim them up a little bit and put them on YouTube, our YouTube channel, so that you can find them much easier. You don't have to go doom scrolling through all of our Facebook timeline to find it. I'm going to pop a link into that, and then we can call it a day.
Yeah. Okay. We will call it a day. And if you do decide that you want to be one of our raving fans, we could talk to you offline and have a little chat, see what we can do for you. And we'll thank you. We'll thank you very much for the support. Thank you to our subscribers, to our members. Thank you for buying us a coffee. Thank you for talking with us and spending the time with us. As you know, we are basically working 24/7. I don't want you to think we're not living the dream. We are, but we are working 24/7. That's what we
Absolutely.
love to do. We're not taking too much time off at this moment, but we don't have to, because like I said before, I'm taking a break in my head right now as I'm talking. I just went like completely somewhere else, and I'm back. Dr. Energy, being with you and doing this is the highlight for me. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all our guild members for being here and supporting us. And Grimskull, awesome, over a year. And I know that you've been more consistent lately, so awesome job. And I see that John, he's been celebrating 2 months on Monday as well. So awesome job. Keep going, guys.
You know, as Maya Angelou says, people will forget what you say. They will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel.
Yes. Have an awesome day, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ciao.